Welcome to Bobby's Cryptid Corner. I'm Bree.
I'm Jamie.
And I'm Bobby of the Cryptid Corner.
And today we have Mike here with us. He's our very first guest ever of Bobby's Cryptid Corner. Welcome, Mike.
Yes, thank you very much. This is awesome. So glad to be a part of it.
Yes, we're excited to be here. We're doing the New Jersey Devil tonight because Mike himself is from the New Jersey area. So we thought, what a better person to have on other than someone from the area where this creature lives.
Finally, a dude to get all my sports references.
Wow.
Wow, Bobby. Wow.
I don't like sports. I like cryptids. I was that kid.
All right, guys, let's start off with show and tell. I'll go first because I have lots of exciting things for you. So my first thing that I got today is a citrine point for my birthday. Look at that chunky motherfucker.
It looks very cool. It looks a lot like a smoky quartz and less
Very
like
smoky.
a citrine.
I agree. Well, in person, it's a lot more yellow than it is on camera. I'll give you that.
What did the lady at the store write on a Post-it note that tells you what that crystal does?
I actually didn't take the Post-it note with me this time because I do know what this crystal is about. It's Bree's birthstone.
Oh,
That's why she got it.
100% because I like my Bree vibes in me. And so honestly, I went in, it was a birthday present from my boyfriend, and I was like touching all these crystals, and I was like, whatever one I vibe with is going to be the one I take home. And that's just the one that resonated with me. So I took it.
nice.
Yeah.
That's how you guys told me to shop for crystals.
Exactly.
That's how you
just
shop,
vibe.
man. You
Like
gotta
I said
vibe.
last episode, the one that resonated with me was made in China, but that's fine.
Has it come yet?
No, I don't know. I don't check the mail. I don't know.
I was like, have you given up now? You're like, it'll eventually show up when it does.
Mm-hmm.
I love
It'll
that.
be a magical day. Yeah.
All right. And then my second show and tell item is I did the assignment of drawing the Jersey Devil like Bree wants us to. And I genuinely think that I did a fantastic job of it.
You did a really good job. It looks like a Pokemon character.
I was going to say, sorry, go ahead.
No, his name is
Jamie.
Malfred.
If New Jersey had like a minor league baseball team I guess they have
They do, the
hockey
Jersey
team.
Devils.
That
Yeah.
hockey.
That could be the logo. It does look like a minor league baseball logo, though. That's
You
all
can't
I'm
tell me that
saying.
doesn't look like a Pokemon character.
No, of
Listen,
course. That's what all minor league baseball logos
Here's the
look
thing.
like.
It has the Jersey Devil is supposed to look like a weird horse standing up goblin thing. I cannot draw. I could draw circles, and this
I think you did a great drawing.
This was circles. So this is my fat little cute. He just ate somebody for dinner and he's taking a little nap on a hill. The sun it's before sunrise, and he's just about to go to bed. So that's my Jersey Devil vibe of the day, you guys.
It's me right there. That's what it is.
Hey Gary. We have Gary Voorhees Jr. in the chat. Hello.
Really?
How do I do the chat?
Nice.
It's on YouTube. I just pulled up YouTube in the background.
I'm looking at a Zoom. You guys are yelling at people.
I know. I just pulled it up in the background. All right, Mike, why don't you show us your show and tell?
Okay. So okay, cool. So here's the first one.
You did the homework, man. The one time I don't do the homework.
You did the homework.
Luckily, I forgot about the art portion because I don't have that talent. So
me either.
We lack talent.
I don't have that motivation.
We have one picture per episode, and I did it this time.
So here's piece number one.
Ooh.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Little amethyst.
Exactly.
Sick.
Gorgeous.
It looks heavy.
It does.
Amethyst. It's quite heavy. Yeah. This is
awesome.
You never see this on camera. I never reference it, but this is always right here by my podcast setup.
Oh, I wish I had something new. I have nothing.
Shame on you.
I have a cell phone.
Oh. She did get the new iPhone.
I got a new phone.
Please don't. I don't. Yeah, it does what phones do. Got it.
Exactly.
Piece number two.
I have a terabyte of storage. Thank you very much.
Bree, I'm just teasing. I love your new phone. I'm jealous.
All right, let's see the second one.
So this one is, I'm not sure if that's really in
now
focus.
that looks like a legit smoky quartz.
That's a smoky quartz,
that's what that is.
This is, it probably isn't
that's smoky
clear
right
enough.
here too.
This isn't
it
clear
actually
enough.
looks really good.
It does. It looks really
not.
good.
This
nice
is a
point.
Herkimer Diamond.
Ah.
It was actually mined.
Never heard that before.
By a friend of mine. And,
you don't know what a Herkimer Diamond is?
No.
In upstate New York, they're mined.
Yeah.
You can actually camp.
Awesome.
You can actually camp right down the street, and then you can just bring like sledgehammers and stuff and go right into the mines and mine yourself.
It's my dream.
So it's like it's not a real diamond.
No,
That'd
unfortunately.
be pretty dope.
That'd be a big ass diamond.
That'd be millions right there.
Like,
I know,
if
it
you
really
should
would.
show that on camera.
That's
Right?
awesome. All right, next
I-
trip.
Next trip, New York. We're gonna mine diamonds.
Oh, that's
I like it.
amazing.
I love it.
Super cool.
All right, that's for today's show and tell. We don't have too many because Bobby didn't bring anything and Bree.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, you do?
asked me earlier.
Oh, that's
I
right,
said
you
I
do.
did.
Oh, that's right, you do. Just Bree
Mine's
didn't.
not as like a cool shiny rock or anything, but I
Okay, show
watched
us.
y'all's. All right, I watched y'all's. I watched the last episode with Mike, who's here tonight, and Mike had mentioned that he's a big Joseph Campbell fan,
Oh shit!
right? Or did I dream
He
that?
did. No, he
Did.
did.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminded me for show and tell. I found this at a garage sale. It's like
Ooh.
the 1988 6-hour PBS interview
Oh,
DVD
yes.
Oh,
of Joseph
cool.
Campbell and Bill Moyers, and it's like if you want to just dedicate 6 hours to on the other side of that 6 hours completely viewing the world completely differently in a good way, I would say, or an interesting way, just take the class. I think a lot of the, it's not a class, but I think a lot of the videos are on YouTube too, but
That's
highly
awesome.
recommended. 6 hours of Joseph Campbell just saying Joseph Campbell stuff.
Bobby understood the assignment.
That is
All
He
right.
did. Say, I understood the assignment. Uh-huh.
That's available also in book form too. It's called The Power of Myth.
Yep.
So you can just read that in book form also. But yeah, his lectures are incredible.
I like to
that.
watch things, so
Yeah,
that
me
would
too.
make
I'm more
sense.
of like a I can't. I'm sitting and reading.
Reading.
It just takes so much time. I know.
I read a
I
lot
have-
of books, but the ADD always kicks in. I can't tell you how many books I have where I've read almost the entire book except for like the last 3 chapters.
Because you just can't do it.
I don't know what it is. It's like all of a sudden there's another book, and I'm like, well, that seems more interesting. And I
Mhm.
think I got the gyps of this one, and then I just move on.
I know.
It's
I know.
awful.
My
know.
nightstand looks like a legitimately insane person lives there because it's just like conspiracy shit, and then
Mhm.
David Childress and those like all the ancient alien dudes, supernatural Sasquatch, all that shit. So
Does your
anyway.
wife have like the murder books on her side too? So when you walk in, you got like the conspiracy on one side and the murder on the other.
Yep.
Well, see, so I feel
We're
like
that
if someone was
couple.
going to rob your house, if they walked into your bedroom, they were like, maybe not this
Yeah,
time.
no.
This person has guns, and that person would be right.
Oh,
I mean, you are in
okay.
Texas, so I'd imagine you have guns down there.
Yeah.
Guns, but no abortions.
Heyo. All right, let's jump into this episode. We're talking about the
Have a good
Jersey
abortion
Devil.
reference on the Cryptid podcast.
I know.
Fun topic.
The fun one.
Well,
Anyway, about
speaking
Halloween
of
and
the
Jersey Devil.
undead,
All right, that was just too far.
Oh man, that's good, Bree. That's good. That's good. Speaking of it, okay, so
Oh, shit.
we're talking about the Jersey Devil tonight. Hey, Big Willie in the chat, and we're talking about it because Mike's here and he's from New Jersey, like we said at the top of the episode. So let's jump
Crazy.
into where the Jersey Devil lore really started. And I think it's interesting because this is another situation where we have the lore of where it came from is kind of muddled. People say it's a lot sooner. Some people say it's a lot later. And so there's a lot of misinformation going on about where this started at.
Yeah, exactly. There's like I found like pretty much 5 main sources of the story.
Mhm.
And I think that probably the one you've probably heard of, most people have heard of, is the Mother Leeds story,
Exactly.
which allegedly took place in 1735. And this Mother Leeds was a Quaker who was rumored to be a sorceress. Again, it's anti-pagan sentiment. You're going to find that throughout. So she has 12 children. She's giving birth to her 13th child during a super violent thunderstorm. And for whatever reason, the unlucky 13th child comes out. It's deformed. It looks disfigured. So what they do then is they hide the child away for a while because they're out of embarrassment, obviously, because they just gave birth to Satan, who wants to, share that with their neighbors. Eventually it grows up, it matures and becomes stronger and smarter, and it escapes into the Pine Barrens and then starts flying around and being seen as the Jersey Devil. So that's probably the most famous tale. But I ran across a couple other tales that are a little bit less known. Have any of you heard about that story or any version of that?
I've heard like a version of that.
I've heard a different version too.
Yeah, I've heard that same kind of version, but so it was her 13th child. She was mad it was the 13th, so she cursed the child. It came out looking normal, but then morphed into the Jersey Devil. That's the story I heard.
Yeah,
and then it killed everybody. It killed like the children, the mom, the dad, and then like flew up into the chimney.
Yeah, is that correct?
That's the other version. Yeah.
Oh yeah. We
always talk about that though, all the different versions. You have to like listen to them all and then see the similarities in all of them, and that's where I usually feel like the truth lies. What about you, Bobby?
Well, yeah, that's when I was trying to research this, just to have some frame of reference. That seems to be the canon. I'm glad that Mike said he has some unique experiences or points to make, because when you do go into research this, you just kind of hear that story and then maybe a few interesting eyewitness accounts. But I did research for about an hour and a half when I think it could have been done in about 15 minutes. So if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
No, I mean, I think it's interesting to hear. I mean, one, we're in the 1700s, so that's like a long time. This is a strange time, I think, in America. And so when I hear about weird things like this, it could be just legend, lore. There could be some truth into it. I always take into account the time frame, because this is when things that could be kind of normal are not taken that way, and people take stories and kind of run with it. Maybe they need entertainment. It's not like there's TV or normal gossip around the town. So to me, it's interesting to see like where could be the truth in this story. Obviously, the Leeds are a legitimate family. There's a cemetery there, right? But we don't necessarily know the correct location of the house. I know that Jamie just popped up a picture where that's allegedly, but there isn't a precise location where this is confirmed that that was the Leeds house. But they did, rumors, they did live right there on a river. And so some of the things we like to point out are consistencies when it comes to the paranormal. Water, sand. So this is a very sandy area. So there's usually like a mixture of different minerals, limestone, all those things, and then water, right? Perfect for energy, all these things. What do you think, Mike? Because I know that you have a big paranormal background. So are those things that you look at and you're like, okay, I can kind of see maybe there's some strange energy going on here?
Yeah, there definitely could be. Because the Pine Barrens, to just give a little background, is, it's just thousands and thousands of miles of like just these like they call them pygmy pitch pines and scrub pine trees, and it's horrible soil. Like it's really nutrient, just there's almost no nutrients in the soil at all. Very sandy, like you said, and really it's just miles upon miles of just pine trees and carnivorous plants, and there's some gorgeous actually wild orchids out there, but like you can't grow crops out there. I think the Native Americans found a workaround. They would do controlled burns and actually burn different areas that would create like charcoal and stuff that would bring some nutrients into the soil, so they could do work with it a little bit. But the settlers like could never grow anything. And I mean, it's just these long sandy roads that just go on and on. They all look the same. You can, if you don't know your way around really well, you can get lost so easy, especially at night. And it's creepy out there. I mean, I hiked the Batona Trail, for example, which cuts through the Pine Barrens, and just miles upon miles of just dead silence. I'm not kidding. Like, you don't see or hear a squirrel, a bird, nothing. It's just dead silent. I mean, it's really eerie.
In the deepest, darkest depths of the Pine Barrens, which I think I read that it was like something ridiculous, like a million, excuse me, 1,000,000 acres.
Yeah.
Really?
Which seems like a lot. But I don't know. I may have just made that number up.
That is a lot.
I was like, that's a lot, yeah.
Or maybe
even 10.
Yeah, no, but it's pretty big. I think it's like the size of like a New England state or something like that. It could fit inside the Pine Barrens. But when you sit like in the deepest, densest parts of it, are there any kind of like little towns, or is it just nothing? Not like just nature?
There used to be actually some, and I have a couple images to show here. Let's see. There used to be, back in like the Revolutionary War times into the Civil War, there were these like small towns that they were called iron towns because they used to pull bog iron out of the Pine Barrens. And so these little villages popped up around these like forges, which once the iron kind of dried up and the need for all that iron and weapons for cannonballs and musket balls and all that stuff, once that went away, the villages kind of just dried up. And yeah, so here is let's see, just trying to figure out how to share my screen.
Oh yeah, hit share screen down at the bottom.
Yeah, I just hold on a minute.
Hey, everybody in the chat. Hi, Paranormal Chop Shop. Hi, Tim. Hi, Big Willie.
Okay. All right, you can see that?
Yes.
Yeah, so pockmarked throughout the pines are these little like remnants of like old forges and refineries and stuff. Yeah, it's
That's
so
a vibe.
pretty at the same time, though.
Yeah.
It really is. But eerie because it's so quiet and just still. It's creepy out there. It really is.
It's interesting that you say that, because that is one thing that I found incredibly consistent in every single story, account, or anyone that's in the area. They all talk about how eerily silent it is. And that's normally a sign of something greater, something bigger that's present if there aren't birds chirping. Or you would think in a place like that, where there's so much kind of dense foresty area, that there would be some type of animal or something thriving or having, just living their daily life. So it's like, why are they not there? To me, that seems kind of strange.
Are you just saying like it's very quiet? Is that what you're suggesting?
It's like beyond quiet. It's like
Yeah.
that people don't hear birds chirping or squirrels running about. That
Yeah,
there's
like
no
just like
raccoons. It's
just like the soil
dead.
is missing nutrients,
Gotcha,
the forest is
gotcha.
missing sound.
So let me ask you this, Mike. We're going to talk about more depth, obviously, about the Jersey Devil, but is there any other consistent, high strangeness phenomenon going on out there that's been, recorded?
Yeah, actually, thanks for asking that question, because I was going to get to that next. I mean, I've hunted out there, I've camped out there, and I have always had this overwhelming feeling of just being watched all the time, and a lot of other people report the same thing. And several friends of mine who I believe, they tell me this, I believe them because I trust them as people that don't make things up. And they reported seeing a figure in the Mount Misery area that they described to me as a werewolf, like actually running sort of on all fours, but also with their hands, like you'd picture a werewolf running, and that's the figure that they saw.
Dogman?
Dark
Could that be like
figures.
a dog man?
Yeah, Dogman, Skinwalker
Dogman.
vibes.
Not Darkman with Liam Neeson.
Right. Yeah.
Great flick.
There's an area near Batstow Village, which I think I have an image of that as well.
Yes, please.
That's interesting to hear another account of something strange there.
Exactly.
But I have heard that that's a secondary thing besides the silence. Again, in every report or every even YouTube video of people in the area have said, all of them, I wrote it in my notes, that they all feel watched.
So here's a shot of Batstow Village.
Okay.
That's the main mansion. That's like a center point of the village, which it's a historic village. You can go there to this day. There's a gift shop. You can go in, walk around. They have history tours and stuff. And there's all kinds of outbuildings all over the place, and sheds and stables and all kinds of stuff all set up. And I had just down the road from this place, there is a small church. It's a Baptist church, I believe. And and there's a little cemetery next to it, and there's this path that goes behind the church. And I was following up on some reports that people were saying that, like, oh, there was this evil priest that used to live back there, and he killed a bunch of women and he threw them into this stream in the back.
Oh, Lord.
And I was like, okay, I couldn't find any historical documentation to back it up. Not that that means it didn't happen, but I couldn't find any evidence of that, right? But so I was free one afternoon, and I said, no, I'm just going to run out of Batstow and go back and check it out. So I drive to the church, park in the church parking lot, and I walk a couple of miles behind the church, straight back into the Pine Barrens. And there's like these little, cedar streams running this way and that, and you go over these little wooden bridges, and it's actually quite beautiful. And I ran across some cranes over there and some like herons, pretty cool. And I locate the area where this story supposedly took place, and I'm looking around and I'm like, oh, it's actually really kind of beautiful. I took my shoes off, I put my feet in the stream, and then I started hearing movement coming towards me from like up on the hill behind me from where I just came from the trail. And I was like, oh, this must be something. A lot of people walk their dogs back there, so I thought, oh, like somebody must be coming. So I got my shoes back on and started walking back up the hill. And I hear the movement still coming, and I'm like, wow, it sounded like strangely loud, like too loud for just footsteps. And so I get up to the top, back to where I was on the main trail, and I'm looking around and I don't see anything. There's nothing moving, and there's that stillness again. And I don't see trees moving, branches moving, like nothing. I don't see deer, nothing. But I still hear the footsteps, and they're getting louder and louder, and they're coming straight towards me. And I can kind of at this point locate kind of where they're coming from, like that. And I'm looking right at where the footsteps are coming from, and I don't see anything. And I start getting, and I was in the military. I'm not afraid of the forest. I can stay on the forest for weeks with nothing but a knife and be fine. And not be afraid. I was suddenly, without reason, just overcome with like this just dread. And I can't, to this day, I can't explain it. And I was like, I need to get out of here. But I wasn't even comfortable turning around and walking briskly out. I walked backwards really quickly for a couple of 100 yards.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, before I got comfortable enough where, and the movement's still coming towards me, but I'm still not seeing anything. Maybe 200 yards, I'm walking quickly backwards, every once in a while looking behind me so I don't walk into a tree. Until I get comfortable enough to where I just turn and I start kind of jogging the hell out of there. And I got out of there, and I related the story to my girlfriend, and she's like, why the hell did you go back there by yourself? I'm like, it's just the woods. I don't, I can't explain that. I don't know what it was. And what was weird about it was like, it was so loud. It sounded like there was somebody stomping through the underbrush, trying to be loud, coming straight towards me, but I didn't see anything.
Did the sounds get louder as it felt like it was approaching closer to you? Like, did it ever feel like it was gaining on you?
It did until I started moving.
Okay.
Once I started like backing up, like I could tell it was still coming. But then it's at a certain point, it would have walked. If something was walking towards me, it would have walked onto the sandy path. Do you know what I mean? And then I shouldn't have heard it anymore. But I was still hearing it for a while, and I was like, my brain was like, no, this isn't right. Something's not right. I gotta get out. It's
interdimensional.
So it was like, what o'clock would you say it was to you? Like the sound coming from? I'm just trying to visually paint the picture for myself.
So while I was at the stream, it was at probably probably about maybe 3 o'clock.
Okay, so it's basically parallel with you. Interesting.
Are you getting that from Jesus? You were like, Lord, what time is it?
I was going back to that moment in time. I was trying to.
I love that.
Whoa.
Yes, it was like kind of like over here, and then
What
3
do you
o'clock.
think?
What's the significance, Bobby?
What? The Holy
Is there
Trinity?
a significance of like, the timing?
No. I was just trying to. No. No, I was just trying to, set up the. Was he walking parallel? I don't know. I'm just asking questions here. There don't have to be significance to everything I ask, right?
No, always timing is big
Right.
to me, especially 3.
No, Bree, you misunderstand. He doesn't mean 3 o'clock. Bobby was saying what time was
I thought you meant
hearing
like
it?
What angle?
time.
Yeah,
That's
like
why I
what
was
angle?
like,
No.
what's 3 o'clock?
Yeah.
Jeez. No, I could see how you could do that.
Yes.
What Mike, what do you think, like, if you had a guess, like if I said, hey, what do you think that was, like, what do you think it was?
I really have no idea.
Because it's giving me Bigfoot vibes.
Question.
It's giving me mad interdimensional cloak
Bigfoot
and ability,
vibes.
Bigfoot vibes.
But there's a name. I was gonna ask you guys, what is the name? There is a name of a creature that does this in the woods.
Yeah, Bigfoot.
And it's 100% no. That you can see through. And in some cases, people can see, even though that it's invisible.
That's the
Sometimes
Predator.
people see. No, but it might be. But I've listened to legitimate accounts of this creature. Like,
okay, is this a cryptid or a real? Is this in National Geographic?
Real cryptid. No, like a
real cryptid. Okay.
Oh.
I'm dead serious. Did you ever watch the Missing 411 for the Hunters one?
Of course. Yeah.
So good. You don't remember that? They're like in Idaho or Ohio guy that's or some shit.
I didn't know if you were talking about a real animal or a cryptid.
I'm talking about a real cryptid.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Yeah, they have like the Predator.
The lady
cloaking.
was like out there hunting or whatever, and the trees move, and it's like she can hear it, but you can't see it.
You can see like a silhouette of like a gelatinous, transparent thing. I'm
a true believer that even in superheroes or comics, whatever, I think that there's a legitimate truth to these things. It's like in all movies, these things come from somewhere.
They're saying it's called the Glimmer Man.
It's like Star Trek. People think Star Trek is crazy. Guess what? The person that wrote Star Trek was in a whole group that channeled aliens, and he got all that information from there. If you do your research, you would see that. So there's a legitimate connection between these things that we see on TV and, again, comics or whatever, but it like stems from some sort of truth. So I just wonder if that could be connected. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's the whole thing about like, there's theories about how, I don't know, pop culture can manifest, or like, does media influence nature? Does nature influence media and things like that? So I don't know.
Yes, absolutely, I agree there. But I'm saying more like they write about real things to get people acclimated. Acclimated to the idea.
Right.
So that when we come face to face with these things, we're not totally sideswiped because we've been seeing it in movies.
Like when the government stages a fake alien attack, we'll be like, oh yeah, cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'll be like, that's not real. And everyone's like, you're a conspiracy theorist.
And that's exactly what will happen. Yes.
Which is coming. It's coming.
It's coming. Exactly.
I give it like 6 months.
Yeah. I was like, I give it 6, maybe 8 months until we have that new one.
I used to have dreams all the time of when ET would come.
Like in general? Like where would they come down? Like UFO lawn? Like what are we talking? Like backyard?
Like the sky would morph and there would be like ships and orbs and stuff. And what's really great is every time I would say something around the lines of, I told you, like to other people. But yeah,
we will have our vindication one day.
We will. All right, let's.
I don't need it anymore.
Back to the Jersey Devil. We get so far off track, guys.
Camp.
But I think this is off track. But I also think that it's cool,
very cryptic corner
mentioning, because maybe this
is part of it
from the Jersey Devil, but maybe it's this area. Maybe this area has something you know,
Yeah, that's
some type
ultimately
of
what I was getting at. So,
portal
Mike,
thing.
anything else? Any records of, I don't know, maybe even ghostly type things or other cryptids or anything like that?
Yeah, there's been several Bigfoot reports in the Pines. Strange orbs are seen. Also, I always, of course, chalk that up to swamp gas.
Oh my
God.
You're one of those.
I'm kidding.
Man, I
Oh,
inhale that
thank
swamp
God.
gas every
I
day.
know,
I think
every
we're just
day.
high off the
I don't
fumes
even
at
think
this point.
swamp gas is a real thing. That's a deep
I
state
know,
gas
like,
is a
psyop.
conspiracy.
fuck?
Yeah.
I don't think
That and
unless
Saturn.
there's someone out there with a flamethrower, like igniting the methane, I don't really think that's really gonna
Yeah.
just spontaneously catch on fire.
Elon Musk
Yeah.
is out there with his fucking flame gun, like
Exactly. He's like, fuck these aliens. I got it.
I have actually, 'cause speaking of the predator, I've actually seen in a full spectrum camera while walking through a cemetery in the Pine Barrens.
really.
I saw some kind of form walk past me, and again, I just held the camera down for a second because I wasn't actually filming. We're just kind of moving from one spot to the next, and so I had the camera like kind of pointed down, and I saw something walk past me, like right past me, that I couldn't tell I couldn't say it was a human form or whatever. All I could see was that predator kind of shimmer
Shimmer.
move right past me.
Wicked.
And
Shimmering, Jamie.
I
Shimmer through the
know.
multiverse.
For the multiverse.
again, no idea what that was, but
You had we need to come and hang out with you soon and just like take us on paranormal adventures. Like we'll come spend like a few days there.
I agree. At this point, we're pointing towards the Pine Barrens as being like a thing right now.
Like like its own little UFO triangle, Skinwalker, Bigfoot area.
Mike,
Like,
I'll just
whether or
invite
not if
myself to
Jersey's,
your
you know.
backyard.
Yeah.
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 Sweet.
Perfect.
We'll bring our own
perfect.
tents.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I actually did an episode of not my current podcast, The Bunker, but the one I had before
The old
this,
one, yeah.
that and I interviewed my brother-in-law, who was a state park policeman for years, and he patrolled all the areas of the Pine Barrens and up and down the Jersey Shore and all that stuff. And he reported some really, I mean, he was a skeptical guy, career military, got out, went to the park police, that kind of guy, right?
Yeah.
Just like evidence, investigation, straight, but he was also had some Native American blood in him, and he was not totally closed off to weird shit. And he told me a story where he was on patrol one day and he saw this one single light coming straight towards him, and he's watching it and he's looking at his partner and he's like, "You see that? What the hell is that?" They roll their windows down and they don't hear anything. They're like, "What? Why? What is that?" And it comes closer and closer and closer. And then they watch, as soon as it gets maybe a few hundred yards from them, that light splits into two different lights and shoots east and west in two different directions, like in a 90-degree angle, instant turn, boom, changes colors and goes in two different directions. And he told me that story and he was like, he didn't know what to make of it. And coming from him, that was like, wow, really cool, because he has spent years and years and years out in the Pine Barrens in the middle of the night for years and really never experienced anything weird. Walked around there by himself all night long and never experienced anything weird other than some strange people. He ran into a guy that claimed to be a druid. That was a pretty cool story.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
Yeah.
Just gonna glaze over that one, are we?
I know.
Yeah. We'll get into that in that. It was like, yeah, just a druid, whatever.
Yeah. Oh no, he was legit. He had a whole pouch with like spell components in there, and like a staff and the cloak and the whole 9 yards. It was pretty cool.
He had some 12-sided die in his little satchel.
I was saying, was someone playing D&D in the forest, or is this a real thing?
Stop.
Sorry.
I think it's a time traveler.
Ooh, a time traveler.
The critical hit, bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
A legitimate druid.
Roll for damage.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys are saying. I don't know your
Yeah, guy
references.
talk.
Okay.
Yo,
No,
don't even worry
it's
about
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, I know what the D&D stands for. At least I've heard of that.
That's good.
There's a couple like famous historical sightings of the Jersey Devil.
Okay.
actually, that I want to just touch on.
Okay.
One of them was Joseph Bonaparte. If you recognize the last name, Joseph Bonaparte was the brother of Napoleon, who was actually stationed in the area of New Jersey and off the shore. And he was hunting out in the woods outside of Bordentown. The Pine Barrens today, I don't think stretches that far north, but back then, this is like 1800s. Back then the Pine Barrens was much larger, obviously. But he reportedly saw this creature in the woods, shot at it, chased after it, and it just disappeared on him. There is another story of a Commodore Decatur who was visiting one of the forges, and he was inspecting cannonballs. And he was going around and just doing his thing. And he looks up, and him and several other witnesses see this, what they said was the Jersey Devil. It was like some kind of form in the sky. It was a big black form with wings flapping its wings. And he rouses the men, and he like orders them to fire upon it. And so they get, like, I guess they had cannons sitting around. So they just like load up one of the cannons and they fire a cannon at it. And it supposedly either missed it or passed through it, one or the other, I'm not sure. But either they fired the cannon and it kind of just looked at him and then just sat there for a second, flapping its wings, and flew away. So, I mean, there's countless stories like this. In 1908, actually, this is let me grab this image.
Yes, please.
Which is probably the most famous
image
Jersey
of
Devil photo of the Jersey Devil. And this is from 1908 from a Philadelphia newspaper. You can see it there.
Yep.
In 1908, there was almost 1,000 cases of sightings of this thing. And not only sightings, but also of hearing, quote unquote, hearing it. Again, they're just hearing some crazy scream coming from the woods. You can't attribute it to the Jersey Devil. It's something that stood out to them, that alarmed them, that wasn't, associated with any of the normal sounds they would hear from the forest. But they of course attributed it to the Jersey Devil, of course. But this is an image from 1908 from the newspaper.
Here's one of the newspaper clips right here.
Terrifying.
Yeah, crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
Yeah.
Swims, it flies, it gallops.
And this there's tons of these articles like this of people seeing them, and this one specifically, they're calling it the Leeds Devil.
Yeah. Yep.
Where does the line start to blur between everything from the initial origin folklore to kind of the media sensation that we're seeing here into, I guess, what is most compelling, or like maybe more modern eyewitness accounts or things we can kind of, I don't want to jump the gun here if you're, going down a path, but I was just curious of kind of how that dichotomy works out.
There seems to be a gap in sightings, and there's just like UFOs, it seems to be like a flap area. 1700s, there's tales and sightings. 1800s, there's tales and sightings. Early 1900s, there's tales and sightings, and then it kind of dies off. And really, the only actual modern sighting that I could find was from, fairly recently.
Oh,
you may have actually seen this. Let's see. That was, where is Mr. Black? I'm old school. I write everything down. So from October 2015, I tried to grab the image, but it was copyrighted by ABC News.
Lovely.
So if you'd like, I can send you the link. But a David Black of New Jersey was driving somewhere in the Pine Barrens. He thought he saw a black llama running down the road, and he thought, well, that's weird. And he happened to have a camera in his car, so he picked up his camera and started taking pictures. And he reports that once he started taking pictures, it, quote, like sprouted wings and started flying. And he caught an image of what looks like a horse with wings flying, and it's all black. Doesn't seem to be a physical form. I don't know. Again, we can comment on the legitimacy of the photo, but it just looks like a shadow of a horse with wings is what it looks like.
Gotcha.
Like a
Yeah.
Pegasus.
Like a Pegasus, yeah, unicorn.
It looks more like a Pegasus than the Jersey Devil, to be honest. But
Okay.
But llama is
So
an
weird.
interesting word there. I feel
I've
like
heard that too. I've heard camel as
those
well.
those classic sketches kind of have llama-esque qualities.
Yeah, there's
Totally.
an interesting,
Yeah.
there's some sketches that have the feet as more these like very horse-like hoofs, and then you have other ones where it's more camel-y, llama-y.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was probably, I don't know, maybe artist
Interpretation.
liberalism,
Yeah.
artist, what do they call it? I don't know. You know what
Well,
I'm trying to say.
I mean, I imagine if you see that for yourself, a few things really stick out to you, but the rest of it, your brain probably pieces together, and then
Right.
other people
Fills
see
in the
things
gaps,
too,
yeah.
and then it's kind of a clusterfuck of things. But I think the biggest things are that it's bipedal and it has some type of hooves and claws and wings that are ginormico, flies, head of a horse.
Mm-hmm.
It has kind of like a deformed, botched body. Like it's like,
Yeah, that neck in the head of the sketch it just feels like it would just
Topple over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like legs are very small. It's very, I don't know, it doesn't
But
look
but
it's
who
meant
knows,
to
like,
fly.
The full context of the sketch could have just, let's make it look really weird,
Mhm.
That is just so upsetting. Ugh.
Yeah.
So
I think
unnatural.
Aww.
Oh, it's got little Crocs on.
it looks like
It
it,
does have Crocs.
Crocs.
That's a great observation.
and it looks like its front
What a
arms are almost
douchebag.
very T-Rex like it's not meant to sit down. You know what I mean?
It's top heavy.
Very.
Yeah. It's like a Ford Explorer.
Weird one.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Lord have mercy.
I have seen quite a different variety of the way that this thing looks. But there's two things that could be. I mean, I think it's crazy that some people think that this lady really birthed this devil and it's just still kicking, it's still flying around, or are there just different versions of it? Maybe over time it's mating with other things, or it's 100% paranormal and we're only grasping what we can see because, again, it could tie into that thing that Jamie and I talk about where you're only seeing what your consciousness can basically handle at the point. Like what you have to be in context to what you're seeing is what your brain then puts together for the overall picture. So what do you guys think?
I definitely think so. Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's kind of a classic case of more or less when I was trying to give the benefit of the doubt to the Bell Witch on the last episode. I think it's like, if we're going to subscribe to the whole, okay, we have an origin story and a folklore around it. It's spreading. It's becoming, unique to the region and people know about it. It takes on a life of its own. And then somehow it manifests or penetrates the consciousness of the dimension. That makes sense. So like, now that we have given it this name and we have accepted it as this thing that is possible,
it's here now.
It's here
We
now,
birthed it.
or whatever it is that, the guy saw a camel that flew on the side of the road. It's like, well, maybe it was just a flying camel, but you would go, that's the Jersey Devil.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say.
I
No,
do.
yeah, it's a good point because I've also seen other
Yeah.
people talk about like what it could be, and I guess there's some crazy owl out there in the area, and another
It's
thing with
always
bats.
owls.
It's
though.
always owls. That's
I
always
hate
But
it.
it's like a
scapegoat.
particular. I might have
Such a
written it
cop
down.
out.
Owl of the Gap
Great
theory.
horned owl. Great
Owl of
horned
the Gap
owl,
theory.
where
I've
they're
said that.
huge. But think about it. These are things you
I'm-
see at night. It's huge.
sick of
It
owls.
wraps its wingspan.
I'm gonna go ahead and just say anytime someone says it's an owl, bullshit. It's like NASA saying
like,
it's
hey,
fucking space dust.
I drives me nuts. They're like, I don't know, that wasn't a gray alien, that was an owl. I'm
It was
like,
an owl.
shut the fuck up, please.
Not a fucking owl.
I don't know. I'm just talking shit.
Owls look like owls.
I subscribe to the idea.
I'm like, aren't you guys endangered?
Mm-hmm.
And some type of bat is out there too. But again, we have to be thoughtful. We should be thoughtful of when you're driving out there in the middle of nowhere and something really quick just go. Did you see that?
Yeah. So do we have any, I don't want to jump the gun, but do we have any like
no, we don't.
Mainstream like skeptic arguments here? Like
just you, babe. Just you.
I got nothing. I'm convinced.
Yeah,
I'm convinced.
I think it's a real Jersey Devil.
Yeah,
you're a liar. Really?
We'll find out during Factor Sci-Fi.
I feel like you just initiated.
I feel like
Factor
we should have gone to
Sci-Fi.
commercial right there, but we don't have any sponsors.
Look at that! Look at that face. It's like someone's angry old grandpa.
Yeah, so this is a more modern day version of kind of what it looks like. It's giving me like Satanistic vibes for some reason.
Like it's like a lazy Baphomet.
Yeah, very like a dying Baphomet.
Remember that? You remember that like scene in Fantasia? You guys ever see Fantasia? Never mind.
Yeah, long time ago though.
It was like these weird demony gargoyle things. It gave me a little bit of
gargoyle, for sure.
Little chupacabra vibe there.
Ooh.
But we'd have to get into the two different types of chupacabras, and that's going to be a different episode.
That's going to be a whole nother
episode. I didn't know that there were two different kinds.
Okay, I've seen one version of the chupacabra with my own eyes.
In real life?
Yes.
Let's go.
Next episode.
Go.
Next episode.
Fucking go. We're doing this right now.
Okay, please.
There are no rules.
Yeah, no. Okay.
On for part 2.
So I'm driving to an event in North Jersey, and to a paranormal event, and so I have all my equipment in the car. I'm driving by myself, and I look to the side of the road, and I just a couple of days ago watched a TV show about the chupacabra.
Of course.
And where a police officer caught it on a dash cam, and you may have seen this, and it was running in front of him, and they were like, "What the hell is that?" It looked kind of like a dog, but it was no hair, and it was super lanky, and a huge face and long maw and all this stuff. Not a week went by. I'm driving to this event, and I looked at the side of the road, and I'm like, "Holy shit, it's a chupacabra." I start slowing my car down, and I see this. Now, again, I'm pretty convinced it was just like a coyote that it was like mange or something, had no hair.
Yeah, chupacabra on the brain.
Yeah.
Right. But because I was thinking that,
I
was like, oh my God, there's chupacabra. But it was probably just a really sick, effed up coyote, because a coyote without hair would look really terrifying.
Yeah, for sure. I'll give you that.
I want to put it in chupacabra. That's my vote. Let me ask you this, Mike, and apologies if this is redundant from the last time you were on with these ladies, but do you have is there have you always been relatively sensitive to this kind of stuff? Obviously the interest goes pretty deep, but when would you say your first experience with high strangeness was?
Wow. I would say
wee babe.
I would say
3.
I would say what?
3?
No. I don't even remember what hell happened 3 weeks ago. No, but I would say after, I don't think I really had a real face-to-face encounter with anything really weird until after I started investigating.
Okay. That gives me hope.
Because
wait a second, but you were in the house and it was haunted. It was already gravitating towards him as a wee lad.
Yeah, but I was not born yet for some of that, and I was an infant, really young for some of it too.
So I
was present. I probably witnessed something, maybe, I don't know, but I don't remember that far back.
Right.
But I've gone into this on a couple of episodes in the past, but I got into the paranormal because I moved into a home. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I'm about to contradict myself. No, it was right before I became an investigator, because I moved into this house built in 1776. that had continuous activity, and it was famous in the town for having activity, and like, oh, there's a ghost girl that's there, and there's a man that's seen, and blah blah. And we grew up hearing about these stories.
Wait, you moved in the place that everyone has stories about?
Yes, we had the opportunity. Me, my wife, my
You
ex-wife
crazy.
now, and my kids and my best friend moved into it's like 7-bedroom house, huge old mansion,
Oh my God.
haunted as hell.
Did you know it was haunted when you moved in?
Yes, that's why I wanted to move
Hell
in.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Ballsy.
Yeah, I had
Ballsy.
Yeah, Bree wouldn't do that.
if I could
Ner.
live on a
No.
Yeah,
find
we
me
were
a mansion
so
haunted with
excited.
Sasquatch, I'm there.
Yeah, me too. I'm in.
No.
We were so excited, and my kids were too, and they were young.
So
and they were-
excited.
I remember
And
the first
Whole
day.
town says it's haunted.
I was
So
like, and
excited.
how long were you excited for until you weren't excited anymore?
I
one.
was excited the whole time. My ex-wife was terrified. And even
Mm.
my daughters were young at the time. I mean, like my youngest daughter wasn't even in school yet. And I remember her like walking up the first day we were there. My youngest daughter comes up to me. She's like 4. Comes up to me and she's like, "Hey Dad, do you have a flashlight?" And I'm like, yeah, I think Aaron, it's right over there on the table. She's like, "Okay." I'm like, "What are you doing?" And she goes over and picks up the flashlight. She turns it on. She's like, here, ghosty, and just wanders off into the house by herself. And I'm like, that fucking kid is a gangster.
I love that. Yes.
Damn.
And it's
Dude,
You're like
the
the-
gangster. You
you're like the-
raised a
you're like the
thug.
J-
That's dope.
You're like the Jane Goodall of ghost hunters.
awesome.
You like voluntarily went into the jungle and lived with them.
Yeah, no, and we experienced stuff all the time, almost every day in that house. And
You've
that's
been
what
to Hill House.
motivated me to become an investigator, because I'm like, this is legit. Like, this is happening all the time. I
Was
want
this
to
in
know.
New Jersey?
Yes.
Is it in the Pine Barrens?
No, it was in, but
You
near
like
the
that
Pine
segue?
Barrens. Near the Pine Barrens.
All right. I do like that segue. That was a good one.
Yeah,
Right on.
not far from the Pine Barrens.
It's weird.
And
So weird.
that's, stuff was happening so much, and I really wanted to get to the bottom of it and understand how to investigate it properly. And that's why I joined the group and started training and became an investigator. Yeah, it was.
Wait, so your daughter saw them and stuff. So did you have any experiences, or you just saw through your daughter? Because obviously she was, she had the sight.
Oh yeah, no, I saw stuff all the time. In fact, there was one night in particular that stands out where a friend of ours was over having a few beers. It was late. He was just getting ready to leave, so we were kind of like in the kitchen, just chit chatting, small talk right before he walked out, and he's standing underneath of a ceiling fan. It's in the kitchen that had like a little pull chain on it for the light, and keep in mind he's like 6'4" and like 320 pounds, like giant dude, standing right under. His head is almost hitting the light. He's standing there, and my ex, me, and him are standing there. All of us hear the pull chain go clink clink, and see the light go off. And all of us look like, what the fuck? And we look up, and the light's off, and you see the chain moving as if someone just pulled it. And he looks up and he's like, all right, I'm out. And just like turns around and walks out the door.
Whoa.
And so, I mean, that's at one point I thought I saw my daughter run through the living room and through the dining room and into the next room. And I was like, what the hell? This is like 11:30 night. I'm like, what are they doing up? I was like pissed. I go chasing after her, and I'm like, and I can't find her. I'm like, what the hell? So my ex is like, well, didn't she just go in there? I'm like, yeah, I thought she did. Yeah, she saw her too. Go in there and go towards the basement. There's nowhere to go from there.
Yeah.
She's not there. She goes upstairs, and I'm still searching around that area. She goes upstairs, and she comes down, and she's like, they're both sound asleep. I don't know what the hell. So both of us saw that, and doors opening and closing, windows opening and closing.
And you're digging this the whole time. You're like, this is awesome. And everyone's just freaking the fuck out.
Oh yeah. She was losing her shit, but I was like, this is fucking great.
All right.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Right on.
But I can't.
Intense.
But to go back to the devil, like I can't. Like I've heard some reports of the Jersey Devil, like, oh, this wing thing with red eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what other cryptid does that sound like?
Mothman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. I was about to say.
Exactly. People hear like these loud screeches in the middle of the night. That sounds, they're these long howl screech things. What does that sound like? You know, I just keep going back to the same thing. I think of all these things, the Jersey Devil, Bigfoot, Mothman, all this, it's all manifestations of the same thing.
Yeah.
Because people are seeing stuff.
Are there any like rooftop accounts by chance that you know of?
Rooftop,
where you can hear like something like some sort of like hoof or talon.
Oh, I saw that.
Because I always hear that about, I feel like I heard one about Mothman.
I saw that on
I don't know.
YouTube, was it? It was a show that I watched, and some lady was out there with her son. Did you see that?
Yeah, I think that's maybe what I'm thinking of. I don't know.
Yeah, it was like snowy, and they saw the creature, so they ran, and then the thing like flew and landed on top of the roof, and they of course lost their shit, screaming inside. And then the next morning, they had actual pictures of the hooves on top of the roof in the snow. That couldn't be a fucking deer.
No, I don't know.
Nothing.
A friend of mine was driving through the Pine Barrens as a kid. He still remembers this. He was maybe like 10, 11 at the time, driving through the Pine Barrens, and all of a sudden they just hear this loud bang, like something lands on top of the car.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah. And his mom freaks out, who's driving, and like swerves, pulls over, stops the car, and they get out and they don't see anything anywhere. But again, there's a thing, it's not seen, but it's heard. I don't know what that is, but is it the Jersey Devil? I don't know. But lots of weird shit happens out there, and I think a lot of things get attributed to the devil. Like throughout the years, it was blamed for our crops failed. It's the devil. It's the Jersey Devil. People wake up one day and like the tops of the trees are cut off. Like, oh, that was the devil flying around cutting the trees off. Weird colors showing up in the streams, or streams boiling. Oh, that's the devil. And I don't know what the hell that is, but there's all kinds of weird stuff that no one's witnessing anything doing it, but it's just attributed to that thing, because that's the evil thing that's in the woods. You know what I mean?
And that gives it power. Interesting.
Totally, Bobby. That's a really great observation.
Yeah. It kind of goes back to what I was saying. Like the more it's like within like the local zeitgeist of the, human consciousness in that area, it could be. And the more you attribute strange things to it, I think that maybe gives it power or something like that. And then if you look into like, I think you were mentioning it when people talked about UFOs, like in the 1800s, it was like that steampunk kind of like weird airship situation. And then that archetype, the archetype changes where it's like, well, maybe they saw something, but it's not the like giraffe necked winged creature. It's something else that's winged, that's a little more digestible for our modern minds, if that makes sense. So I don't know, I'm just throwing shit at the wall right now.
No, I agree with you. I think that we talk about this a lot on Bobby's Cryptid Corner, I feel like, but this idea of like us believing in it is manifesting it. So like, because we are perpetuating the stories, the sightings and the stories are continuing to happen.
Because everything is energy. Doesn't matter. It's just like being angry. If everyone else is angry with me, we're more angry.
Well, look at the rise in just something as recognizable as Bigfoot that seemed to have been sparked by, more or less, not all, but obviously there's exceptions, but like Patterson Gimlin film comes out, and again, that doesn't necessarily have to mean it's something supernatural. It means like, oh shit, some other people saw this and this is starting to bubble up, and more people are going to come forward and talk about it, more people are going to report it, things like that. But it's almost like it enters the whole culture and then it becomes some sort of reality, whether it be just something that's recognized that was always there, or it becomes something bigger than what it was previously.
Are you insinuating that there's a possibility that there was never a Bigfoot before the film, and because of so, we've all manifested that collectively by thinking and possibly believing and searching for it?
Let's just say that we put the Bigfoot in like a mental conservation center in our conscious mind and made it more prevalent and more frequent. It was always there, though.
Yes.
To answer your question, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
like,
yes,
I don't
but
know.
no. Okay.
Again, this is all about going on a little journey.
Exactly. The possibility of
I'm
that.
just
Okay,
trying
Nothing I'm saying is like to be taken seriously. I'm just kind of throwing shit out there.
That's how it is on the podcast. Yeah, everyone should know that.
Okay, so let's
Stream of
factor.
consciousness.
We need to factor sci-fi this one then, and we got to bring out the scale because I want to hear everybody's stories.
Shit.
I'll go first because I enjoy going first. I'm gonna hard middle bitch it, and I'm gonna give it a 5 right in the middle of the scale. I don't know whether to believe this is real or not real. I like the idea and the possibility of it being real. I enjoy the lore of it, and I like that people are still seeing it to this day. Obviously, I like that they have like festivals about it, like name sports teams after it. I mean, look at this cute little fucker.
Giving it power.
Look at that cute little thing. Like, how could you not love that cute little thing? So
Don't be surprised if that shows up on your doorstep.
that's totally.
I know,
okay
right?
With me. It doesn't bother me. I'm fine with it. Especially
No,
the
it looks
little
like it wants
chubby
its
one.
belly scratched.
Exactly what I'm saying. It's so cute. So I'm gonna give it a solid middle bitch right in the middle. I don't know what I want to believe it to be true, but I have a feeling it's not. So I'm middle bitching myself.
5.
5 for you. I'm gonna sci-fi the Jersey Devil, but I'm going to fact the Pine Barrens as being possibly some type of a portal where other strange manifestations can happen. And so maybe it's not necessarily one creature, cryptid, whatever, that looks as if they entail, but I'm starting to truly believe that it is a strange place where strange interdimensional creatures can come to and fro, and it is our consciousness that is projecting a type of image, and that is why it shifts and it forms. But overall, I think that there's enough evidence to say that it's a very strange place, and I am gonna fact that.
Okay.
Fucking preach. Yes.
What about you, Bobby? What's yours?
Bree stole mine, basically. Wait, what was your rating, Bree?
Yeah, you didn't rate.
No, because I do my own thing.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. New Jersey Devil on its own. New Jersey Devil on its own.
Yeah.
I should really think about it, guys.
No, I go last then.
All right,
Wait, you guys have to remind me what the scale is. A 1 is sci-fi?
A 1 is no way, Jose.
Yeah, sci-fi.
Oh,
and then 10 is fact.
I give it a 1.5.
Okay.
Wow.
All right, solid. And you're giving the Pine Barrens a 10 though. That's a full sci-fi.
Yeah, Pine Barrens a 10.
Okay.
Damn.
Give it 11.
There.
Yeah. So what do you give it, Bobby?
I think I agree with Bree as far as I don't know though, because like
it's a middle bitch.
this is like super.
It's hard. It is so hard.
It's very well documented. I mean, we really only just scratched the surface with a lot of this stuff. And I like to believe people about magical creatures and all, but
yeah,
I don't. I'm awful.
Okay. I definitely agree with you about the Pine Barrens. I think it's like a perfect setting for just high strangeness in general. So I'm going to definitely fact that, assuming that like the proper New Jersey Devil that we see that famous sketch of, I'm going to probably go like a 2. I'm going to go 2 on that.
Okay.
A 0.5 more than I.
That could have just been misinterpretation, but it could still be something like
exactly, which is where the 1.5 came from.
Okay.
Fair enough.
And then, all right, Mike, what about you?
Okay. So yes, I'm gonna go ahead and go with the consensus and fact the Pine Barrens because I know that for sure that place is weird as shit. What's going on there? I have no idea. But I think that early newspaper reporters in the 1900s for sure sensationalized things because that was really their form of entertainment at that time. Like I think someone had mentioned that earlier.
And at this time.
Right. Like, at this time too. Yes, exactly. And so a lot of that's probably crap, but I know people that have seen stuff. I personally not seen anything crazy out there, but I know people who have, and I believe them. So
Mm.
what it is, I don't know. I can't say it's the Jersey Devil. So middle bitch.
Yes.
Whoa, that
And
was
How did you do
Echo.
that?
Yeah,
that was
that's
so
echoed.
cool.
Was that on purpose?
That was
Fancy.
so cool.
I'm fancy. I got a whole
He's
system of it.
been waiting to
Oh my
do
God, he's like,
that.
let me bam.
Oh wow.
I
We
like
gotta
the
talk
middle.
audio after this.
I was like, yes, I love that. Okay. I think
feel like I'm slacking now.
so we got
the middle bitch creator.
I know,
is slacking.
slacking.
I'm
Gotta get a
showed
button.
up right
We need
now.
a middle bitch button. Okay, so it seems like Bobby and Bree are more on the side of sci-fiing it, and me and Mike are more on the side of middle bitch. We like the possibility of it being a real thing.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yep.
a solid.
It's not
But-
that I don't like the possibility; it's that I don't buy that
buy
that particular creature.
Yeah,
You know,
We got
And,
bench
like-
seatings in this middle bitch mobile.
I know.
middle bitch
I don't know what
mobile.
that means.
All right, you guys. Any closing thoughts for the episode? Anything we need to take on to the next one?
No.
I think.
You know,
Ooh,
Feel
so
like
I
it
have
came and
one
went so
quick
fast.
question
I know.
that we
Okay,
did.
good.
I have a quick question for Mike.
Yes.
Has any of your friends claimed to see particularly the New Jersey Devil? Like, yeah, like weird shit, but has any of them been like, I've seen that hairy, naked, flying bat?
Hell yeah.
No.
Okay.
But my grandmother claims to have seen a Bigfoot run through her backyard. She took it to her grave, so I believe her.
Okay.
The same friend that I reported earlier that saw the werewolf-looking creature also was out in the Pine Barrens on a Bigfoot hunt and caught a picture of a Bigfoot from the chest up, and it was a pretty convincing photo that she took with her cell phone.
Do share.
Yeah,
Do share.
Send that our way, please.
Crazy stuff is going on out there. I don't know anyone personally who has seen anything resembling the Jersey Devil, but I recently interviewed last year the New Jersey guy, like chapter BARFO representative, who takes takes trips out into the Pine Barrens to go Bigfoot hunting, and he swears up and down that Bigfoot ran right in front of his car. He had to slam on his brakes and everything went flying. His girlfriend saw it. He saw it. And he's convinced 100% it's the flesh and blood thing. I don't know. I mean, there's lots of weird stuff that's reported, but I have not come across any reports of an actual flying horse head llama thing.
Yeah.
So
that goes
Fair,
back
that's
to my
fair.
thesis that we're going to figure out by keep doing these episodes. It's all Bigfoot.
It's all
All of it's
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
It's all Bigfoot at the end of the day.
A lot of big feet.
Bigfoot with wings, Bigfoot
Telling
without
you guys.
wings. Yeah.
It's
All right.
impossible.
All right, you guys. We loved you all. Thank you so much for tuning into our live. We will see you guys next week
Yay.
with the Dog Man. We love you all. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you, especially Mike, for
Yes,
coming
thank
on.
you, Mike. We
Thanks,
You've been
Mike.
here like no other.
thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Hey, Mike, where can they find you?
Yeah.
So you can find me at anchor.fm/thebunker. I'm also on Spotify and Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and a bunch of other ones.
I just want to say I jumped into the bunker this week, and this guy can fly solo. And not only does he do it, he does it well. And that's huge if you've ever tried to talk in front of a microphone for a long time.
Oh, sweet. Thanks, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. So everyone check him out. You guys know where to find Bobby. We're going to link everything in the comments below so you guys can just click it and go straight to it.